Welcome to Left On Wed.
Bite-sized tips for people getting hitched. Georgia Fletcher.
Adam Sini.
In the same room.
How did we get here?
In this part of town.
Were you good at maths?
Never.
No?
No, I got a letter in year 10 to say you should not continue this.
They sent you a letter to say
Yes,
that. That's
but
so
I'm a
harsh.
great primary school teacher and I finished my degree.
Just.
I'm really good at the how to teach.
Yeah, but not the what. I don't understand what I'm teaching these kids, but they're learning it.
Were you good at maths?
Yeah,
Oh.
I think so.
Why did you ask that question?
Because you said circle, I thought diameter, and then I thought maths.
Oh.
Do you think, when I think circles, I think maths?
See, and this is why I wanted to play word association with you.
Oh my
because
goodness.
today we are talking about traditions. So I want you to say the first thing that comes to mind.
Hold
So
on a
when I
sec.
said circle.
Oh, okay, I'm with you. I
You
was
thought
like,
diameter.
word association. Okay.
And I'm going to say something and you're going to say the first thing that comes to mind and see if you can do it in one word.
Okay. Go.
Veils.
Gross.
First dance.
Nah.
Father giving away. Oh my gosh. Rings.
Oh.
Vows.
Oh, yes.
Look, I did say words.
I did noises. Noise association. When Georgia, I have an issue, right? And it comes from my father, I learned recently, right? I'm sitting down with my dad. He comes and spends the night with us in Newcastle in our house. And we play a game of cards, right? I'm like, let's play some cards, do something fun, right? And I tell my dad the rules of the game, presidents and assholes. And then he tries to break every single rule that I've told him. And he goes, well, why do I have to do that? What's the rule of the game? Why do I want to do that? Why is that card higher than this card? Well, because that's how the game works. That's it. 8 is higher than 7. No, don't want to do it. I want to do this. And he's just playing cards because if you tell my father what to do, he wants to do the opposite. He has to do the opposite. He has some sort of thing in his brain where he can't follow rules.
And if you just swapped my father with me.
Me, that's me. That I was my father then. No, literally, I get that from my dad. It's like, if you tell me to do something, I immediately want to do the opposite just to see what happens.
Could you
It's
please
really
do
an annoying trait.
word association with me and I will follow the rules.
Okay.
Where I'll say a word and not a sound effect.
Okay, ready?
Okay.
Garter toss.
Ooh.
That was a noise. That's not a
Is
word.
it?
Would ooh be in the dictionary?
Maybe.
This is
I challenge you to a dictionary duel.
okay. Webster's. Oh, throw it at your head. Collins.
Okay. Garter toss.
Have we told everyone what
Pony
this
by
episode's
Genuine.
about?
Oh, wedding traditions. I think I touched on it very
Breaking traditions.
just broadly. Wedding tradition.
We're going to talk through all the traditions from a wedding, right? But one thing that I always tell my couples is there's all these traditions in weddings. Pick and choose the ones that feel right to you and get rid of the rest. Because really, if you look at the dictionary definitions of why we do these things
We're
during
back
weddings,
in the dictionary.
you might be a little bit freaked out
Just
about
after
why
ooh.
these things, right? Why these things are true. And a lot of them I've learned recently. A lot of them I actually don't know why we do these things.
So name some traditions. We've done garter toss, bouquet toss, father
But
giving
why
away.
do you do those? Do you know why we do those things? What's the...
Well, here's some show notes I prepared earlier.
Oh my goodness, you are so organized. You got a laptop?
I do.
Ah, look at that.
Here's one. Okay.
What do you got?
Your favorite.
What?
Veils. What do
Ugh.
you think is the tradition behind wearing a veil?
A veil, so this is what I think, and I actually don't know the answer to this, but a veil covers the face, in a hetero relationship, and then the groom takes the veil off, so it's like, as his prize, he's unveiling her. Is that right? Something like that?
This custom traces its roots back to Rome.
Yeah.
Fearing evil spirits were jealous of her happiness, the bride would wear a veil down the aisle to disguise herself from them and avoid any ill will they wished to bring upon her.
What?
So blocking spirits.
Where? Okay.
But
Oh, that's not what I thought.
not the alcoholic ones.
Yeah.
Leave that up,
But
skull.
maybe that's why you wear a veil, because you can't help yourself and you need to block those alcoholic spirits out
But
until
not
the reception
many
starts.
brides I see wear it over their face.
No, yeah, same. But I have seen a few recently, and then they get to the end of the aisle and they don't know what to do. It's like, you can take it off, and the groom takes it off. And it's like,
That's really nice.
eh.
What about at the end of the night carrying the bride inside? You know how the groom...
I actually haven't seen that.
Well, I mean, we're never there because they're going into the bedroom.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, traditionally, or even like...
Don't be there, Adam.
So, I wish I was there sometimes, if you know what I'm saying. Traditionally, like, first kiss, right, means it's their first kiss, not as a married couple ever. That's what the first kiss is, right? And then taking them off is because they're going to go have a root
We're on to
for the first time.
wrong.
What?
Yes. So this superstition began in medieval Europe, where many believed that the bride was extra vulnerable again to evil spirits through the soles of her feet. So to avoid bringing in any evil spirit. So if you're very spiritual, these traditions are great. To avoid these evil spirits, the groom carried the bride into their new home so she didn't pick up any through the soles of her feet. Fun fact.
What the hell? What?
Okay,
Nah.
here we go.
These are actually more out there than I expected, to be honest. I really thought...
We do our research on this podcast.
Well, you do. I rock up late, hungover, and we just go into it. Georgia is single-handedly running this thing. I'm going to be replaced next season.
No, you're not.
By
Never.
Oscar.
No, the chemistry's too good. Here we go. Your favorite, the garter toss.
Oh.
What do you think that means?
Well, I think it goes back a little bit maybe to what I just mentioned before, as if they're going to spend their first night together. And he's like, oh my God, for firstly, you do not have to do a garter toss. In fact, it's kind of weird, right?
Unless you're playing Pony by Genuine and you are very loosey-goosey and you want to have a dance, you want to be that Magic Mike vibe. It's funny, but it's really hard to get people up on the dance floor.
It's weird.
It's extremely difficult.
It's weird. Okay, what is it? What is it? Okay, so you're taking the thing off her leg, with your mouth, I don't know.
It's
gross.
said that family and friends would wait outside the nuptial bedchamber until
Get
they were
out!
evidence, sheets, stockings, or a garter that the marriage had been consummated. In
you
time, the
kidding me?
garter came to symbolize good luck, and rowdy guests began making a game of trying to strip the bride of that little fabric band. And to distract them, brides began tossing it into the crowd. Today, the practice usually involves the groom throwing the garter to a group of single men, and whoever catches it is believed to be the next to marry. I'm going to sneeze.
What, are you going to vomit?
No, sneeze. But I may as well do that.
Yeah, that's weird, man.
So let's talk about something borrowed and something old and something
Blue.
something new.
Reminds me of The Simpsons.
It's a bug in my face.
I don't know what episode it is, but they get something blue and I think Marge gives Lisa a hair. Is it one when they go to the future? Everything in my life directs
Something
is-
borrowed, something old represents continuity. Something new means a positive outlook on the future. Something borrowed is a symbol of borrowed happiness, and something blue, fidelity, purity, and love.
Yeah. It got nice until you said fidelity, purity, and love. That's nice. See, a lot of why we're doing this episode, right, is to know why you're doing the thing. And if you're comfortable with that thing, do it in your way. Flip tradition or break it in the way. Don't do these things.
We're here to educate, inspire, and inform you before you make decisions.
Right? And that last one you said, yeah, that's probably the nicest one you've told me so far where I don't hate myself so far.
Couple sides in the ceremony.
Oh, no.
You
I
like
know
this
this one. I know
one?
this one.
Okay.
I know this one. Can I answer and you tell me
Yes.
if I'm right?
Please.
So we're talking again, hetero couples. Boring. We don't need any more of them. Don't at me. Honestly, for goodness sake, I'm on a roll today. So let's say it's the bride and groom, snore fest.
We still need brides and grooms.
Fine, repopulation of the earth, but you can, there's other ways. Anyway, so the groom traditionally stands on the left and the bride's on the right if you're looking out to your guests, because the groom would have his sword on his left hand because he's right-handed, and if anyone tries to steal his bride during the ceremony, he could draw his sword and fight him to the death. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes!
But Max and I are both left-handed, so we would have probably died.
That's cute.
Yeah, so something new is that, we don't force people to write with one hand anymore.
So do you need to stand on the left-hand side if you're the groom in this relationship? No, unless you want to draw your sword. I have seen a man with a sword at a wedding before and it was crazy.
Yes,
Pretty
I've
cool.
seen a sword too. They used it to cut their cake.
No, this guy does... It was like he thought it was a themed wedding, like a Viking wedding. He came dressed as like he was in Game of Thrones. And I was just like, oh, did I miss the memo? And everyone else was wearing suits. I was like, oh, no, that guy's just got a sword.
Yeah, well, there's an event coming up where you're coming as Mario, so it's going to be great.
Is it me, Mario?
It's an Italian theme.
God, traditions are weird.
Yeah, they are.
Weddings are weird, right?
Just don't be normal.
Yeah, I mean, the whole point, once again, is break these traditions and do what you want. What else you got? You got any more little facts for me? The ring? The ring. What does
Why
the
does
ring
it go
mean?
on that finger?
On the ring finger. I have no idea. Is
Okay.
it so you can, well, the middle finger is for telling people to F off. This finger is for sticking.
Pointing.
This little pinky.
What's it for?
I want to move on from that finger all of a sudden. The pinky is for because it's pink, The thumb. If humans didn't have opposable thumbs, we would not be where we are today. Why would you put a ring on it?
But you said for sticking.
I said for sticking.
Yes, what? Sticking what?
Georgia, I want to move on. I really want to. I want to keep talking about the ring
Don't
finger.
let Adam move on. Message him and find out what he's
Oh,
sticking
come.
with that finger. Gross.
Yeah, right? Oh my God.
Anyway, what's the thumb?
I'm getting cancelled. It's because we're opposable. We're the only creature with opposable thumbs, and we wouldn't have gone through the technology age that we have. We wouldn't have built things and clubs and stuff. What is the ring finger for? This episode has made me mad, man.
Many believe the tradition began with the Romans, who thought a vein ran straight from the fourth finger on the left hand to the heart. Others believe it began simply because the left hand is generally least used, and so a more practical choice for that finger. The Egyptians used the middle finger of the left hand. Oh, that's interesting. While ancient... That's not the word ghouls. I don't know what that is.
Oh, ghouls.
Some group of people back in the day favoured the little finger.
You're getting a real good
Roman-
history lesson here from
Yes,
Georgia.
if you're still following along, take
No,
notes.
I've lost.
Roman Catholics preferred to use the right hand for betrothal.
Ew.
So,
Betrothal.
betrothal.
When you get betrothed. That's cool though. I actually quite like that. The
It's sort of
vein running from there to the heart. That's beautiful. I actually quite
And
like
if you
that.
take a few letters out of that, it becomes brothel. So anyway.
Why does that matter?
I don't know.
You can take letters out of anything.
You can. Hey, I love that game. Words in Words. It's a good spelling strategy.
What are you talking about? You just started talking about brothels? What?
Because that word looks very much
Betrothed.
like
Have you
it.
ever heard the word betrothed before?
Yeah, I have.
It's an old-timey
I
yearly
know
word.
who says that. It's betrothed.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
in a movie.
It's in lots of movies because it's a word. It's like saying, muffins is in a lot of movies because there's a word that exists in the English language.
It's supposedly unlucky for a bride to try on her wedding ring before marriage, and it said that whichever of the couple drops the ring in church shall be the shall be what? What do you think is the end of that sentence?
I don't know because I actually stopped listening to you. I was thinking about
Drop
pizza.
the rings all the time, but if you're the first, you're going to be the first to die.
Oh, what? Are
That's
you
what
serious?
people believed. Yeah, see, follow along. This stuff is
I
interesting.
want to run through a few little things of how you can break tradition, do things a little bit differently, do
it.
things your
Smash
wedding
it up.
your way.
Break it. Tear it apart.
Firstly, the entrance into the ceremony, anybody can walk down the aisle.
Anybody.
You don't
Absolutely
have to
everybody.
walk with
Vanessa Amorosi
anybody.
might say.
Thank you. And then that goes to, the walk down the aisle is traditionally bride getting given away by the dad and then the giving away, which is weird when you think about it as well because it means the bride was property of a man. That's what it comes down to. Gross.
50 years yesterday,
Tell me.
it celebrated where women no longer had to get a signature to get a credit card of a
Oh,
man.
wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
back in the day.
See, 50 years doesn't seem that
Doesn't
long
seem
ago.
that long
I know,
ago.
it's so weird.
Crazy.
This world is so cooked in so many ways. Oh my
I
goodness.
interrupted your story again. Do you
What was
remember
it
where you
about?
were?
Oh, yeah, walking in, right? Anybody can walk in. The couple can walk in together. Also, nobody can walk in. You can already be there. You don't have to walk down an aisle. You don't have to walk with someone. You can run down the aisle. You can skip down. I had. Oh my God! I need to tell you about this one bride who I loved. Walked into Simply the Best.
Oh, the Schitt's Creek version.
No, the actual version, the big
Oh.
version. Simply the Best.
That's
right?
Tina Turner, isn't
Yeah,
it?
she walked in not holding a bouquet.
Did Tina Turner write Shine?
Oh my God, Tina. No, She walked down holding a bottle of champagne instead of a bouquet of flowers.
Amazing.
And everybody stood up, and when she got down at the chorus, and everybody at the same time, "You're simply the best,"
Oh,
like
I
sung it to
love
her.
that.
She gets to the end, pops the bottle, and pours her and her now husband a glass, and they stood there holding a glass of champagne, listening to their story the whole ceremony.
I love it.
Which I loved. It was just the perfect way. They wanted a party-style ceremony. It was the perfect way to start it. And she asked me, I think beforehand, was like, "Do you think, can I do this?" And I was like, "Of course you can do this.
You can do whatever you want.
Do it," because... And the photos of her walking down with a bottle of champagne by herself, awesome. Things I'm seeing more often as well, lots of colour at wedding. We're seeing that a lot.
Lots of colour.
Which I guess is kind of breaking a tradition in the whole black and white sort of scheme of things.
Yesterday, the bridesmaids weren't in the same dresses either. They
I
were in
love that.
black, but they chose their own style, which I love.
Speaking of wedding parties, seeing lots of no wedding parties as
No
well,
wedding
just a couple
parties.
standing up there. That's a great tradition break as well if you just want it to be the two of you. We have talked about that in a prior episode.
Yeah, possibly the one about wedding parties.
That's the one. Might not even be out yet.
Might not even be out yet.
Something that I also want to touch on really quickly is using inclusive language. I think sort of does lend itself to the topic we're talking about. You'll notice that we try our hardest to say wedding party instead of bridal party, of course, because, or you can say I do crew, etc., etc. Talking about, and this probably goes more to vendors. Still see a lot of vendors talking about, they talk about brides as people who are planning weddings.
And big red flag in contact forms too.
Yeah.
I've actually had
Right.
feedback where they loved it that I had my own pronouns on my website.
Yeah, beautiful.
So that was really nice. You can just do simple things. But this is not a podcast for vendors.
No,
We're
it's not. But if you're listening,
If you
if
wanna
your contact
change-
form says name of bride, name of groom, then you need to change that because that's just like, get over yourself, mate. But yeah, using inclusive language in terms of weddings, there's lots of ways that we can be thinking a little bit more inclusively in weddings, I believe.
Yes, I've heard things like groom's maid for a female that may stand on the groom's side.
Yeah.
Bridesman,
Love that.
bridesmate,
Or just people, brides
just
people.
people.
Or just the couple one's person.
Just we are
person, one's
family.
person.
Got all my sisters and me.
Traditional vows, what do you think of those?
Yeah,
Word
they're
association.
nice. Do you want to obey?
Not really. No, you don't have to do that. If you want to, you can obey, but oh my God.
Do you know, one of the things that I often get asked is we don't want anything religious, which is interesting coming to a civil celebrant and saying that because
Yeah.
maybe a misconception and maybe something that will continue to start to evaporate over the years to come as we're getting more modern and contemporary in society is that your wedding doesn't need to be religious. I don't know any, like yesterday they had a letter to Paul from the Corinthians as a reading, which was really nice.
Yeah.
But you don't have to have those religious
No.
components in your ceremony.
And it's funny, I get the same thing a lot where people will put in their inquiry when we're talking. It's like, and no religious aspect to it. It's like, well, you have hired a civil marriage celebrant, but we're not going to put that in.
And nothing in our course asked us to
of
do
course.
anything religious.
It's not
So I don't
who
really
we are.
know.
But of course, saying that, we have talked about if you wanted to put a reading in, etc., to for your family, or if that's what you would feel comfortable putting in, do it, because you can do that as well with a civil ceremony being flexible. You can do whatever you want except for those words that you have to say by law. So yeah, you can add it. Quickly going to the reception, things we're seeing a lot of: minimal speeches to no speeches, no first dance, no cake cutting. But you can do these things as well. That's the thing. Pick and choose the things that feel right to you, and then don't do the other things. So first dance might feel right, do it.
The couple last night wanted to really prioritize their dance floor
Yeah.
time, and I make it a personal goal of mine to get everyone on the dance
Me
floor
too.
by 8:30.
Yeah.
Last night, because of the ceremony starting time and the different locations for the wedding, one in the ceremony was at the Mint, reception was at Beta Events.
Yeah.
So we did need to factor in a little bit of timing and couldn't get started till 6:30. But I said, come on in, cut your cake, first dance, and then we had 3 songs. Everyone was on the dance floor.
Amazing.
Food was out on table, so they all went back. It was so good.
Yeah.
5 to 9. Salty Shutter was finishing at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
We were all done and we were on the dance
We
floor.
love Salty Shutter.
We love Salty Shutter so much.
Georgia,
See you later.
I'm going to get in my car. I'm going to drive off into the sunset. I'm
Why
going
are
to
you
turn
allowed to use
around.
car analogy? Hey, thanks for listening.
We are so happy that you listened. I'm over the moon. In fact, if you want a little bit more, follow us on the socials. Where are we?
You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, Left on Wed Podcast.
And if you want to inquire with our services for Celebrant MC and coordination, you can find Georgia at Georgia Fletcher Celebrant.
And you can find Adam at Married by Adam.
Hey, if you have any ideas, questions, topics for episodes, please slide into our DMs. You can send us an email as well, which is
leftonwedpodcast@gmail.com.
And if you're loving the podcast, please tell your friends, tell people who are getting hitched. We need you to spread the word like wildfire. Get it out there.
We really want to say a big thank you to Long Reef Golf Club as well for letting us record the podcast here at their incredible wedding venue. So inquire with them today if you're looking for the perfect wedding venue for your private event or your wedding.
See you there soon, Georgia.
See you there.